everyone, this is the J-Strum. I have just seen Solo, a Star Wars story, and I'm a happy individual. I mean, I am lying a little bit. It's 4:10 on a Saturday, and I saw it last night, so it's not exactly right after. I'm getting to it as soon as I can, because, you know, after the movie, it was 1 a.m., and I was ready to go to sleep. Because these days, my bedtime is around 11, and so when I see a movie at 10:50, oh man. But this movie held my interest, and I wasn't sleepy throughout it or anything like that. So, it didn't affect the movie and how I felt about the movie. That's what I'm trying to say. Right now, I'm heading to go to Jersey Mike's to get sandwiches, Sammy's for the family. And I thought I would drop this little show, my kind of reaction to Solo, for patrons, and maybe I'll drop it on the feed after that. Sorry for the mic placement. Maybe I had to get a mic with a wire that clips on my lapel, my collar, whatever. And I could do road podcasts or something like that. It is a crisp 97 degrees here in Texas. It is hot as hell. Best thing to do is not go outside, but sometimes you got to. It really sucks. But I thought I would give you my reaction to Solo, a Star Wars story, which I also debated on whether to do spoilers or not. And I think I'm going to be pretty spoiler-like, because I'm going to say most of you haven't seen it yet, and you might want to hear my spoiler-free thoughts. My first thoughts was I had a great time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was thoroughly entertained. I had a smile on my face for most of the movie. Let's get this out of the way right now. Solo is a fanboy's dream, whereas it's there to please you. It's there to show you things that give you little nods to things you know about Han Solo and Chewbacca and the Millennium Falcon and Lando and the Star Wars universe, and give you nods where you knowingly nod at the movie or you smile. It has fan service, and I don't think that's a negative thing. I think that it adds to the enjoyment of the film. And trust me, by the end of the movie, when the credits roll, you will be smiling. And when the movie first opens, it does have the whole "a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away," which I thought was great. They started like a Star Wars movie. But then it adds to the way the criminal organizations in Star Wars run the galaxy. And that is true. If you pay attention to Star Wars in the movies or in the books, the expanded universe, etc., there's a lot of crime. There's a lot of slave labor. There's a lot of smuggling. There's a lot of gangsters in control in Star Wars. And it's kind of, it's very dark stuff, especially in the time of the Empire. And this movie is that. That's what's going on. So Han Solo has not been raised unscathed by imperial control over the galaxy and how gangsters run everything. His life is affected by it. And the thing he wants to do more than anything is to have his own ship and to captain it and just be free and explore the galaxy and do whatever the hell he wants. But he also wants to do it with someone he cares about and someone he loves. That may not turn out who he thinks it's going to be. I mean, I will say this right away. I won't give it away how Han and Chewie meet, but I thought it was done very well. And when I realized what was about to happen, that they were about to meet, I smiled and I was happy. I was excited, like, oh my God, we get to meet Chewbacca. I thought that was awesome. Traffic. Sorry. I enjoyed Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo. I mean, a lot of people are like, well, he's not acting like Harrison Ford in the first trailer. Do you know how ridiculous it would be if you hired an actor to play a role of somebody? Not to play Harrison Ford, to play Han Solo. He's hired to play Han Solo. If he was doing a Harrison Ford impression the entire movie, it would take you out of the movie. It would be ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I thought he did a great job. He makes Han Solo his own person. Alden Ehrenreich is following the script. What kind of person is Han Solo? And he plays that character, and he does a good job. And believe me, that's hard shoes to fill that Harrison Ford filled. And he does an admirable job. I also think that, I'll get to Lando in a second, but I thought Woody Harrelson's character was really cool. I don't remember his name at all, but I'm sure upon multiple viewings I'll get to know it. But he's like this gunslinger type character, twirling guns and shooting, bad guys and stuff. He's pretty awesome. I actually really liked Woody Harrelson's character in the movie. Now for Lando, Donald Glover does a fantastic job in the movie. He does a wonderful Lando voice, but that's kind of what you're seeing there. Could Alden Ehrenreich do a Harrison Ford inflection? Just like Donald Glover does kind of a Billy D kind of inflection in his voice. It's possible he could, because I didn't think what Donald Glover was doing was ridiculous, but it did pull me out of the movie for a second, where I was like, oh, he's doing Billy D. Okay? But he's a minor character in the story. He's not a main character. Regardless of what you see in the trailer, Lando was not in the entire film. But when they introduce him, it's so much fun. And I don't know where Han Solo gets his cockiness from, where he gets his confidence from. The movie doesn't show us that. But there's something about Han, he just knows he's better than the way he's been brought up. He knows he's better than his situation, and he wants to be in a better place. And I love that about it. As soon as he meets Chewbacca, he likes Chewbacca. He finds a certain kinship with him, that Chewbacca's been dealt a bad hand, and he wants to do better. He wants to make better for himself in this world, in this galaxy, I guess we should say. And I love that they find each other, and that's the thing. Talk about fan service. As soon as you see Han and Chewie together, you're eating it up. Like, oh, I love this. Young Han and Chewie on adventures. We've got awesome flying sequences and, space chases and chases on you've seen through the trailer, they do a train heist, which was pretty exciting. The effects are awesome. The movie looks flawlessly gorgeous. Just the cinematography, I think Ron Howard, whatever he did when he took over this movie, it looks gorgeous. It doesn't look like, I don't feel like the movie's a mess or disjointed. There's at times in Rogue One where you can feel like, okay, did they refilm this? Did they add this in post? Was this not part of the movie and they filmed it later and then tagged it on kind of thing? You kind of get that feeling, but you forgive the movie for it. You're having a good time. I didn't feel that with Han. Han Solo, the movie. I felt like it was following the script. They never changed it. Lawrence Kasdan and his son wrote it, so it was good to go. And the story is strong. This is a heist film, and it has to do with bringing a team together to pull a heist, and also at the same time kind of setting up the character of Han Solo and Chewie and their further adventures. I honestly, when this movie is over, I was thinking they could totally do 2 more Han and Chewie movies in the same timeline. And I was talking about the timeline with Heather after the movie. I was like, this is post Revenge of the Sith, pre A New Hope, just like Rogue One, but this is more like, I'm going to say, I don't know exactly when, but it's after Revenge of the Sith, maybe 10 years after or something? I don't know. I don't know exactly, but it is. I started thinking that. Now, I will say this. this is kind of a spoiler. I'm not telling you any names of characters or anything like that. But there is a character that's introduced in the third act of the film that totally threw me for a loop. I was like, wait, what? What? I was like questioning everything. Like, how is this possible? What is going on? And why are they introducing this character? It's almost like we need more movies to explain why you just introduced this character that we all know who it is. Why did you just introduce this character? I want to know. Like, are you planning more Han Solo movies? And we all have heard the news that there's going to be a Boba Fett movie by the director of Logan, which is by James Mangold, as we like to call him. Or Bill and I like to call him Mangold. James Mangold. He did Logan and a lot of other films, but he's going to do a Boba Fett film. And a lot of people are like, Boba Fett's not much of a character. What are you going to do with that? I'd say this. Put Han and Chewie from Solo, the same time period, into it in an adventure with Han and Chewie and Boba Fett. And that character you introduced in the third act that we know who it is, but we're not sure why you just introduced him, and it's kind of confusing. Explain that. Carry the story on in a Boba Fett movie or something, if you're not planning any Han Solo. Like, I've already seen stories like, oh, the box office isn't projected to do well for Solo. Could this be Lucasfilm's first Star Wars failure in the Disney regime? Shut up. Whatever. It's the same thing about Deadpool. It wasn't making as much money as Avengers, and they were like, could this be superhero fatigue? No, I don't think so. Here's why. Deadpool is a rated R film. Not everyone is taking their kids to see Deadpool that's taking their kids to see Avengers. It's also not a Marvel movie like they keep saying. This is a Fox film. Deadpool 2 is Fox. Avengers is Disney. So just putting them in the pool together, play on words there, is really stupid. Now, I know Disney wants to buy the Fox properties or whatever. I'm not even sure if that's a done deal, but it's just a clickbait headline, and it's really annoying. The same with predicting how bad Solo is going to do at the theater. This is a Star Wars film. It's Memorial Day weekend. It's going to make a shitload of money. And does that have anything to do with the quality of the film to me? No. People just like to do that. I think the film is really good. Heather and Emma and I, we were all kind of talking about our favorite parts on the way home. We had a good time. My only disappointment is that there was no Solo blanket in the lobby. We bought a Force Awakens blanket, and we bought a blanket for the Avengers. And there was no Han Solo blanket. I was really pissed. They did have Jurassic World's blankets, and they had some Pixar movie blankets, but I want a Solo blanket. They didn't have it. But guys, I am here. I'm going to pause this recording for a minute. All right. So am I a Star Wars fan? Yes. You guys know from listening to the show that I'm a Star Wars fan. So this movie is definitely playing to me. Hold on, gotta back out here. It's pretty precarious. Man, can you guys believe gas prices lately? Jesus, they're terrible. It costs me over $40 to fill up the car now. Now I'm trying to trick myself into I fill up at half a tank so it doesn't hurt as bad. But even though, you know, the way it plays out, I'm still going to pay the same amount, but it just doesn't feel like it. Like, oh, it only costs $20 to fill up. Nice. But really, it's just half a tank. But Jesus, gas is expensive. Almost as much as hyperdrive fuel in Star Wars. Just kidding. But I really wish I could talk to Bill about Solo, because we all know Bill is a huge Star Wars fan. We mutually love Star Wars, but he knows all about the Star Wars Expanded Universe books. He's read all of the novels and stuff. He's a huge Star Wars geek, and I know this film plays up to that audience. Like, people who, it mentions places like Corellia and Dathomir I've never heard Dathomir mentioned in a Star Wars movie, and when I heard it mentioned, I was like, oh my god, that is so awesome. I've never heard Corellia, I've never seen Corellia in a Star Wars film until this film, and I thought it was awesome. There's just so much to like about Solo, and I'm taking this from the perspective that you're not a cynical Star Wars complainer who hated The Last Jedi. Even if you did hate The Last Jedi, I think you'll like Solo, because this is more towards regular fanboy Star Wars taste, not challenging your views on the Star Wars universe or anything like that. If there's anything that pisses you off in the movie, it'll be, like, you had a preconceived notion of where Han Solo came from, and this movie doesn't do that. But how many people do have preconceived notions about Han Solo? I don't know. Maybe just based on the Star Wars Expanded Universe or something. But I think this movie honors a lot of that. So who knows? Who knows what's going through people's heads? All I know is that I sat down to watch a Star Wars film, and I got it. I got excitement. I got happiness and thrills and chills. I even got, moments where the chips are down. It seems like, oh no, are the good guys going to win? Kind of thing like that. But I also got incredible, the Star Wars universe, the way it's depicted. I love it. It was just exciting. It's another Star Wars story like Rogue One. I think this is better than Rogue One, honestly. I still like Rogue One. I haven't watched it in a while since when it first came out, but I could see myself watching Solo over and over again when it's like on HBO or something, Rogue One, I watched it 3 times in the theater, or was it twice? 3 times in the theater, and I was good. I have it on Blu-ray, but I haven't even watched it. I've tried to also stop that, just blindly buying Blu-rays that I'm not going to watch. I just don't have time. That's why I go see it in the theater. I mean, I'll get around to it. I know that I didn't buy The Last Jedi on Blu-ray. I didn't buy Thor Ragnarok. It just doesn't make sense for me to buy discs right now when I'm not going to watch them. It's just a waste of money. You guys know what I mean. So, anyway, the music. John Powell did the music, not John Williams. I thought the music was very good. There are times where it plays Star Wars themes or nods to Star Wars themes, and I thought that was very cool. Again, fan service, but nothing wrong with fan service. This is showing us, this is the Han Solo that we're going to eventually come to know and love in the later films. This is how he got this. This is how he did this, or whatever. And I enjoyed that highly. Like I said, it doesn't explain to you where Han gets his cockiness, but we all know cocky or arrogant people in our life, and we wonder what made them like that. We just don't know. Were they born that way? They just think they're better than everyone else? Han thinks he's the best pilot in the galaxy. He truly believes that. And at times he is. But he's a flawed human being, and I guess that's what makes us love him. Because he can sometimes be a buffoon, like Return of the Jedi. Han comes off as kind of a buffoon in that. But he is a heroic guy who likes to think of himself as a scoundrel, but he always ends up doing the right thing, even if it's not on purpose. That's the Han we know and love, and that's the Han you're going to get in Solo, A Star Wars Story. And it's pretty exciting. I hope everybody goes to see it. If you like Star Wars movies, go see it. I think you'll enjoy it. It's, like I said, it's shot beautifully. I think Ron Howard did a good job. I have no idea what in the movie was directed by the other 2 guys that got fired. At no point did I wonder what the tone would be if they were still on it. I didn't even think about that till later. I was like, oh yeah, what would those guys have done with this? And I was trying to think of what parts. There's one part where I got like a little, a really goofy droid moment where I thought, I've seen some people go, there's some real prequel moments in Solo. I don't think so at all. all of that goofiness with droids and stuff, that was in Return of the Jedi, guys. Regardless of what you say about the prequels. And there's a moment in here with droids that is so good, that is so fun. I looked over at Emma and she was just laughing. It's just fantastic. There's some great stuff there with the side characters that I love Lando's droid, L3. She's fantastic. She's got a lot of sass, but she's great. Oh, guys, I'm driving by a dude. He's working on his car with no shirt on. Got his big old beer gut hanging out. He's having a good old Saturday right now. The dashboard of my car now says 100 degrees. So I guess I know when that guy has his shirt off working on his pick-em-up truck. That's Texas for you. Ding! Wow. So anyway, back to Solo, a Star Wars story. I talked before about wanting more Solo. I don't know if other people will, but I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind 3 Han prequels because I love Han and Chewie so much. I love seeing them in the Millennium Falcon doing maneuvers and stuff. It's so freaking awesome. I eat this shit up, guys. I have no idea when Steven's going to see it, but I'm sure we'll talk about it on the next show. But I just wanted to, give you guys my thoughts on Solo, a Star Wars story. Or Han Solo the movie, as I call it. Guys, thank you so much for listening to the show, supporting the show, etc. And thank you for putting up with my kind of silly right after the movie thoughts before. And believe me, I've been thinking about the film. I want to see it again big time because I loved it. And I can't wait to hear what you guys think of it. And I hope you loved the movie. Thank you guys for listening to this. I'm home now, and I got a nice 23-minute recording here, or however long it'll be once I edit out some of the goofy parts. But thank you guys, as always, for listening to me drone on about something that I love, which is films, movies, video games, what have you. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful Memorial Day, and may the Force be with you. Bye!
Boring conversation anyway.
Now this is podcasting.